Today we'll talk about the thinking styles. Have you ever wondered why people think differently? Of course, people are not the same. We are different in our way of thinking, how we see the things, and of course, how we perceive them. People understand what is happening around in a different way, and that is why we are all on this earth. People on this earth, because they are different, we can mingle, be together, and even live our life in a different way because we are not the same. When it comes to thinking, it is the way we understand what is happening around. You and I are different. He or she are different as well. We can't be copies of each other. Once we are copies of each other, life will be dull. To be interesting, I'm talking about life here. To be interesting, we need to live this difference very well. Because people are different, of course, they have different levels of understanding and different ways of seeing the things around. There was a poet and an engineer, two friends. They decided to go camping. When they arrived to the camp, they started to prepare the food, prepare the way where to sleep and how to sleep and everything. They pitched the tent and everything is there. Then they were tired. They felt tired, so they were asleep. In the middle of the night, the engineer woke up and he started to wake his friend up, the poet, I mean. Then he asked him, "My friend, what do you see there?" And the poet said, "I see flashing stars, just like the cheek of my beloved. I see the black night as the hair of my beloved." I know all these poetic things. He started to describe the beauty of the night in a poetic way. The engineer, then, he was surprised and he said, "My friend, that's what you see. Really?" He said, "Really, this is what I see." Then the engineer said, "My friend, look, we have no tent here. We are stolen." Both are right. We can't say that the poet is wrong and the engineer is right. The poet has got his own way of thinking, of seeing the things, of seeing the night, the beauty of the night. And the engineer, of course, has got his own way of thinking and seeing this night as well. We have two perspectives now, two ways of understanding, two ways of perception. The engineer symbolizes the way of seeing things realistically, logically. And of course, the poet, he started to see things in a very emotional way. Welcome back. We have seen that the poet has got his own way of thinking and the engineer has got his own way of thinking, and of course each one of them looks at the things in a different way. Our friend, the engineer, sees the things through his white hat. So the engineer was wearing the white hat. And of course, those who wear the white hat usually are those people who see things realistically, who see things in a logical way, because this is what we call it, the objective thinking. So the first type of thinking, which is the white hat, he has got the objective thinking. What is that type of thinking? The objective thinking that uses the white hat cares about facts, data, information, logics. And we can't blame the engineer of thinking that way because he sees things in a logical way, in a realistic way. While our friend, the poet, sees the things in a different way, actually. We always have such a type of thinking, what we call it the creative thinking. That way of thinking, that style of thinking, wears the green hat. And of course, the green hat has got this different way of thinking other than the white hat. The green hat, the creative thinking, people, they see the things around in a different way. They like to go outside the track. They like to think outside the box, and they see the things in an innovative way. That is why those people, those who have creative thinking, usually when they just be together with the white hat thinkers, the objective thinking, we have a kind of a way of two things at loggerheads, or two ways of thinking at loggerheads, because we have the objective thinking that is realistic, logical, methodical, and we have the creative thinking which goes outside the comfort zone, goes outside the normal things that we are used to. So the poet has got, he wears the green hat, which is the creative thinking, and the engineer wears the white hat, which is the objective thinking. It happens in our families, it happens in the work environment, it happens in the society, it happens wherever you go. You find people who think different from us. And that is how life is. Because when it comes to understanding the way of thinking of the others, once you understand how they think, you start to execute them. You start to understand them. You start to perceive where they come from. The logical thinking of the engineer is right. The creative thinking of the poet is right as well. We need this type, and we need this type as well. This is integrity. This is how things are formed together. Don't forget that we still have 4 other types of thinking that we'll talk about in details in the coming episodes.